Why isn't it drawing any more fluid in? Answers on a postcard. So after quite a lot of searching, I found the right hand footrest. It was in a really obscure place, as I suspected it might be. For some unknown reason, I'd put it inside a top box of another bike that was sitting in a corner. But anyway, there it is, and I remember now why one of the reasons why I'd taken it off. One is that where the line attaches to the back of the master cylinder here. I'm not sure if you can see that. Hold on. But anyway, this banjo goes on the back of the master cylinder, and there wasn't enough room to fit the brake light switch that's supplied with it. And then the other thing is that down here, if this will focus, I thought that I was going to have to dismantle all of this to get this second bolt in for the brake, but I've cut one to the right length, and I think, so see confidently, that will just fit in there. What it really needs is a hole through there. Could probably drill that. But see if I can just do it up for now without that. So these ball-ended ones are quite good, but won't quite work at this angle. But it's almost turning. Well, it is turning it bit by bit. Can I get that in there now? What I'm probably going to have to do is cut one of these down to get in here. Harder than I thought it was. I tried with a hacksaw and that wasn't having it, but nothing can resist the angle grinder, as I know to my cost. There we are. Good. Anyway, I'm going to try and get this working. The reason I took this off originally was because I couldn't fit the brake light switch that came with it, because there just wasn't enough room to get it in here. As it is right now, you can't quite see, but the bolt that makes the union for the brake pipe is about like 0.001 millimeters away from this suspension strut here, but there is clearance, so I'm thinking this is going to work. So firstly, I've got to tighten that bolt up because I haven't done that. So the clearance here is just like, yeah, just slightly more than nothing. And there I managed to find this brake light switch that works by, it's got a tiny little hole in this washer, and yeah, hopefully this will work. So I need to tighten this up first. So yeah, this footrest is what are they called? BSK Speedworks. So quite a popular add-on. And I notice now they do a Brembo master cylinder with a built-in reservoir, but this one hasn't got one, so I had to buy this. The price per millimetre of this tubing stuff is crazy. I think I paid about £10 just for this little piece of tubing, but it supposedly resists the brake fluid, so we'll see how that goes. Now I've dropped both of the bolts on the floor, and now we've got aeroplanes flying overhead as well. Wow. It's a biplane, and he's about 10 feet above the ground. Okay, so with a bit of luck this switch will work. I've got the wire ready from the what have I done with it? Rear brake. Yeah, so I've got the wire ready to go onto this, so I can make sure that works. It just I know I need to get one end to earth and the other end, but we'll do that once I've got the brake actually working. So a bit of fluid. Try and fill it up with this. How am I going to do this? I carefully prepared a syringe. Can't see what I'm doing, can you? No, it's just flowing in on its own, that's fine. Right, so pumpy, 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 pumpy. Let's put a bit more in. And I'll loosen off the bleed screw on the caliper, which I carefully didn't check how tight it was. Oh, it's going to fill up now. Stop. Luckily the bleed screw is not seized, but it is very tight. It's making the right sort of noises. It's making squelchy noises, but oh. Come on. It's thinking about coming through. There's a little bit coming out of the bleed nipple, but not very much, and a lot of air going in and out. I haven't got a pipe on it, and I probably should have. I'm surprised there isn't any air coming out of here. Come on. Because this master cylinder has been sat around for quite a few years, it wouldn't surprise me if it looks like dried up a bit. The pads are, the pistons aren't moving at all. Don't you just love bleeding brakes? Let's see if I can give you a slightly better view. I should really rebuild this caliper, but let me try tip a little bit in. Okay, what should we try? I'm going to get a piece of pipe on the bleed nipple and fill it up. I was hoping to find a piece of clear pipe, but I don't have one, so we'll try with this. That doesn't fit anyway. It's not working. Of course, the Mitivac is nowhere to be found. I have found part of it, but let's see if I can put some in this way. Brake fluid. It's awful stuff. Okay, so there are some bubbles coming out now, but there's like zero pressure on the pedal yet. There's still a lot of air in there, I think. It's annoying that the level's not going down in this thing. Something not quite right. No, there's no pressure at all. Not my favourite job. So why isn't there any air coming out? Oh, there's some air coming out, but like tiny, tiny little bubbles. Feels like it's moving some fluid now. But I would have expected this to be going down, and it's not. So why not? It's just like it's moving the fluid that's in here backwards and forwards and not drawing any more in. Which strikes me as a master cylinder problem. There's still a little tiny bits of air coming out, but yeah, not very much. So why isn't it drawing any more fluid in? Answers on a postcard. Should I try taking the piston out? Of course, the battery went flat at an inopportune moment, but I was right in that I got the master cylinder plunger out, and I think the reason is that these holes were blocked with some gunge, and there was some gunge around the seal as well, and I think so it was brand new, this, but just put away, and it was, yeah, slightly rusted up. So there's this little thing here that holds the spring, and I think it was not allowing this washer to lift, so it wasn't drawing any more new fluid through, I think is the problem. But anyway, we'll put it back together. Says he confidently. And we'll fill the cylinder up from here. and we'll see if that works. So when I push this in, I think, yeah, I can see it coming out of the caliper now. So we'll tighten the bleed screw up. Well, I ended up doing it off video because I was having all kinds of problems with the camera, and it really wouldn't have made a very interesting video anyway. But I finally got this thing to work, and the back brake actually works. So you wouldn't believe it from the colour of the disc. That's because I've never had it working. Yeah, it was basically a load of crud built up inside here. I think that was the main problem. The screw that holds this in was actually rusted in and ended up snapping off, but I think it's okay without it, at least for now. And I just temporarily wired up the switch, so we can just turn the ignition on manually, hold this down to earth. How many things can we see at once? Can you see? You see the brake light there in the distance. Hold this to. I need some extra hands. How can I hold that onto earth? Okay. Okay, I'm going to hold this to earth and I'll work the pedal with my foot. Where can we see everything in one go? Pedal. Come on. Earth, there we go. Pedal. So that's all working. The other thing I forgot to mention is I've got to find a place for the horn, but I'm going to do the horn, put the seat back on, put the tail light on, for which I've got a wire here to go to the tail light, and then I'm going to MOT it, and then I'll come back. The next video will hopefully be when I've got a piece of paper that says I can ride it on the road. And then the big thing is why the engine isn't running right. So that will be the next interesting part of this saga, I think. Anyway, if you've made it this far, as per usual, thanks for watching, and yeah, onwards and upwards.